Spill the beans. No, that was a really bad joke. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalie and this is Family Makes Sense. Okay, today I want to talk to you about your pantry. Specifically, is it stocked up in case of an emergency? There's a lot of fear going around right now. There's a lot of things that are going out of stock. Let's talk about toilet paper. Here's the toilet paper. There's basically no toilet paper left in the stores. People are starting to panic, and when they do, I guess toilet paper is the first thing that they grab. Not quite sure why, but it is what it is. I want to show you how to stock up your pantry responsibly. Whether there's a virus going around or not, it's always a good idea just to have an emergency store of food on hand because you don't know what could happen. Here's how you can stock up your pantry in case of an emergency. The most important thing is to be prepared, but do not panic. In light of the current events going around, the CDC says this: you are to have enough household items and groceries on hand so that you will be prepared to stay home for a period of time. Now, here in the Midwest, we are no strangers to elements that threaten to keep us inside for extended periods of time. This means that we've definitely had plenty of practice stocking up. For years, we've been grocery shopping once every 2 weeks, and then we get enough food to last for those 2 weeks. If we needed to, we could probably go an entire month without going to the grocery store, except maybe for milk, but there are ways around that. We could last for a month just by using the food in our pantry. Now, what if you are sick? The CDC says that if you are sick, stay home. Monitor your symptoms, and if they get worse, call your healthcare provider. The current virus that's going around says that you need to self-quarantine for 14 days. That's 2 weeks. This means do not go grocery shopping. Do not spread this around, and do not get other people sick. So that means have a family member or a friend do your grocery shopping for you, leave the groceries at the door. Things like Instant Cart are really handy because they do your grocery shopping for you and then leave it at your door. If you suspect you may have had contact with this contagious disease, they say to self-quarantine for 14 days. But if you are healthy, you can still go to the grocery store and prepare the things that you would need for the 14 days in the event that you had to stay home. I will show you how to stock up responsibly for 2 weeks. I'll show you how we personally stock up every time we go to the grocery store. I just want to add like a really big disclaimer here. Stocking up responsibly is key. It's the equivalent to being prepared but not panicked. Ideally, you stock up your pantry over time before you need it. Once there's a need, everyone is running to the grocery stores are running out of food. Especially during times like these, you don't want to run to the grocery store and just purchase an excessive amount of food because you could be taking it away from other people who really need it. The goal is to be prepared, get what you need, but nothing more. I'm gonna show you how you can also take the food that you have and maybe stretch it a little bit further. The question is, why stock up? Much like having an emergency fund, having an emergency store of food gives you peace of mind. In the event that you get sick and can't go to the store, you already have food. If production slows down leading to shortages, you already have food. That way you can eat out of your pantry while other people can use the food on the shelves if they don't have any food. In the event that you are not able to work and you need to tighten your budget, you can look to your grocery budget because you already have food. You can eat out of the pantry while conserving your grocery budget and using that for other things. The bonus of stocking up is that you have the ability to go longer between grocery runs, and you can wait until an item goes on sale before you purchase it. So this saves you a lot of money. Now, stocking up your pantry may seem daunting, but it doesn't have to be. I can show you some really easy tips. I'm gonna show you this. So behind here is our pantry. Well, behind here is our makeshift pantry. It's actually a laundry closet that we kind of converted into our pantry. The question is where to start. You want to get food that is healthy and has a long shelf life. If there is an increased risk of getting sick, it is important to have healthy foods that are rich in vitamins, minerals, fiber, and antioxidants. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you our pantry. Dun, dun, dun. This is what my pantry looks like. It's not meant to be aesthetically pleasing, it's meant to be functional. So just FYI, we did not go buy all of this past week. We've been building up our store little by little. So the two most common things to stock up your pantry with are brown rice and beans. Fried beans especially are really good because they last for a very long time and they're lightweight and easy to store. Plus, they're incredibly cheap. Other basics include diced tomatoes, canned tuna, pasta, canned fruits and veggies. You want to look for items that are low in sugar and high in fiber. How much you need of each item depends on your budget and how big your family size is. I will link a post down below that gives you a better idea of what quantities you need. Here's the deal. That is great if you are stocking up when we are not facing a pandemic. But right now, you want to really focus on the things that you need. You don't necessarily want to go out and buy enough food to last for the year. So We got our beans, we got our rice, but surviving on only beans and rice can get a little bit boring. So I'm gonna show you a lot of other things that are really good to stock up on. I'm gonna briefly go through some recipes that you can make with all these foods. If you look in the description, you'll find a link to over 200 of my favorite tried and true recipes. I've personally tested all of these before. I think they're good enough to try again. I'm giving you free access. Just look for that link. Along with your beans and rice, here are some other things that are worth adding to your store. Grains, canned goods, beans, fruits and veggies, protein, dairy, soups, and also there's some miscellaneous things. Here is our pantry. Basically, this is where our washer and dryer are, and we just kind of moved it over the side to make room for a little pantry, and then we're also using this. Plus, our landlord probably hates us. We'll probably end up having to replace this before we leave because the weight of this, I don't think it's gonna last. I wouldn't necessarily recommend putting all of your cans on something that's not super sturdy, but this is the best that we can do with what we have. Here are our grains plus a little bit more. We have sushi rice, we have jasmine rice, and we have brown rice. Like I said, we didn't just go buy this all yesterday or the day before. We've had this stuff for a while. We also eat rice on almost a daily basis, so us having this much rice is not unheard of. We definitely go through it. Okay. Brown rice, quinoa, wheat bread, pasta, oatmeal, tortillas, crackers, flour, and cereal. Here is all of our pasta. As I was reading, they say to do a lot of bean-based pastas because that's gonna be really high in your protein and your fiber. So this is edamame spaghetti. You can get this at Aldi. I do have a recipe for how you can fix this, but I personally didn't like it very much. The noodles just have a really weird texture, but my toddler really liked it. Basically from here to here are noodles. And this is more than sufficient to last a family of 3 for a month. With your spaghetti noodles, you can make spaghetti, fettuccine alfredo, you can even make lo mein. I'm not super picky on the types of noodles that I have. As long as you're not picky, you can make a lot of things with spaghetti noodles. These noodles are good until 2023. Noodles last a really long time and they're super cheap. When you were thinking of stocking up your pantry, you want to find things that have multiple uses. So take oatmeal. Oatmeal has a lot of uses. It's great for breakfast. You can make cookies with it, but did you know that you can even add it to your ground beef and stretch it out that way? I personally haven't tried it, but in an emergency, if you need to be able to stretch out your ground beef and make it go farther, oatmeal. If you have bread that's gone stale, grind it up and make breadcrumbs with it. You can make meatloaf or meatballs. That's also another way to stretch out your meat. Canned goods. As you can see, a majority of our pantry is canned goods. We got the canned beans, we got the canned veggies, we got the canned fruit. We even have canned bean sprouts. Those will probably be there forever. Cans last a long time. Like these beans are good till 2022. Canned goods have an amazing shelf life. Like I said, that goes until 2022. If you aren't able to make it to the store in 2 weeks, chances are you probably won't have a lot of veggies on hand. Canned goods are great for that because you can still get your veggies in. You can get the canned beans or you can get the dried beans. Dried beans are cheaper, but canned beans are easier, I guess, because you do have to soak these and you gotta cook them, all that stuff. But as far as expiration dates, this one says 2022, this one says 2022. These were purchased around the same time. Another really good thing about canned goods is you can get canned meat, you can get canned chicken and tuna and also salmon and other types of fish. Personally, I don't love the taste of it, but if you're in an emergency, it works. We got our coconut milk. This is essential for making curry. Add some seasonings, some chicken, some diced tomatoes, serve it over rice. You have a great curry. So we got tomato sauce and we got diced tomatoes. You can use these in a variety of pastas. Spill the beans. No, that was a really bad joke. Let's talk about beans. Here are our dried beans. They last forever. Not forever, but they're super cheap and they're actually pretty nutritious. They're a really good source of fiber. It even says so on here. We also have lentils. That falls into the legumes, which beans fall in there too. You can pick up a 1-pound bag of lentils for like $1 at Walmart. My husband loves lentils, so we have tons of those. And also split peas, good for making split pea soup. I used to avoid dried beans because the soaking process just seemed to take forever, but now it goes so quickly in Instant Pot. So you put the dried beans in the Instant Pot, you fill it up with water and make sure you have a couple extra inches above the beans full of water. You put it on for 25 to 30 minutes depending on the beans and also depending on manufacturer's recommendations. Theoretically, your beans should be done It takes a little bit longer, I've noticed. We like to stock up on black beans, kidney beans, garbanzo beans, white beans, am I forgetting any? Green beans. Those are kind of different. Black beans are really good in a burrito bowl. You can add some refried beans to your quesadilla, gives you a little fiber punch. And of course, you can make your own hummus with garbanzo beans. I believe you need tahini in order to make hummus, but we've actually done it without and it still tastes just fine. I don't know if you can call it hummus, but it is a good garbanzo bean dip to eat with tortilla chips. You put garbanzo beans in the blender, you fill it with water, put some lemon juice, cumin, salt, olive oil, mix it all together. It's pretty good. And arguably the best use for white beans is white bean turkey chili. We make it at least 1 to 2 times a month because it is just so delicious. So that's a recipe from Skinny Taste that I'll link down below. And of course, kidney beans are a staple in chili. What about fruit and vegetables? Well, there are a lot of fruits and veggies that you can have canned and frozen. I heard on the radio, so of course it must be true, that there is no nutritional difference between fresh and canned and frozen. They say there is a taste difference, obviously, but nutritionally, it's the same. Make sure that when you're buying canned fruit or even vegetables, that you want to really look at what has been added. Like I'm looking at these 2 peaches right now. One of them is light syrup and one of them is heavy syrup. There's a lot of sugar. Just be aware of that. That is probably the downside. In the heavy syrup, they added corn syrup. And also you don't have to drink the syrup. You can rinse off the fruit. For vegetables, we personally really like these mixed veggies. We have a toddler and this is a really easy way to get the vegetables in. They're already soft, so I don't have to worry about him choking on them. It's probably not like the most nutritional option, but he's still getting his vegetables in. If you are looking for fresh fruit, apples, oranges, and lemons are pretty durable and they can last pretty long in the fridge with proper refrigeration. Carrots can also last for a while. If your bananas start to become overripe, put them in the freezer. Use them when you want to make banana bread. Also, I did read that you can cut up the bananas and freeze them. They also say that you can freeze avocados, but I personally wouldn't recommend it. I tried it. Did not work. I had to throw away all the avocados. I'm pretty sure I did it wrong. I don't want to try again and risk wasting even more avocados. Buy the unripe ones that are really hard, put them in your fridge, leave them out on the counter for a few days before you want to use them. Other things that would be handy to stock up on are applesauce, root vegetables, onions, sweet potato, and cabbage. Cabbage probably won't last super long, but my favorite way to prepare cabbage is okonomiyaki. Okonomiyaki is a fried Japanese pancake. You can make your own version using shredded cabbage, eggs, and flour. Fry it and add a special okonomiyaki sauce on top of it. You can also find the okonomiyaki sauce on Amazon and a pre-made flour mixture. I definitely recommend it. It's really delicious. Extra protein. Without protein, you will feel weak and tired, so make sure you are getting plenty of it. Eggs can last about 3 weeks in the fridge. Hard-boiled eggs last for a week if they're still in the shell. When you scramble eggs, add milk to the mixture to make them go further. Other proteins to stock up on are meat, chicken, beef, pork, turkey, beans of course, eggs, nuts, and peanut butter. So to keep this low cost, you can stretch your ground beef with cheaper meat, so you can add ground pork or ground turkey, or like I said earlier, you can even add oatmeal into it to make it go even further. Add other proteins on your plate like quinoa and beans so that meat can be more of a side versus the main entree. That's a good way to keep it low cost. Dairy. When you think about stocking up your pantry in case of emergency, you may not necessarily think of dairy. There is milk that you can get that you can store on the shelf. You can get powdered milk or aseptic milk or shelf-stable milk. As for more dairy, I buy shredded cheese in bulk and then I portion it out and then I freeze it. Soups. Soups are especially nutritious and delicious in the colder month. Chicken broth or beef broth are good staples to any soup. If you want to make your own broth, you can buy bone-in chicken, put it in a pot, fill it with water, add some seasonings, maybe some carrots and onions, and let it simmer on the stove. When it's done, you'll have chicken that you can shred and freeze, and then you'll have delicious homemade chicken broth. Other things I would say to buy for soups is chicken, beef, or vegetable broth. Get seasonings, get bouillon cubes. Bouillon cubes are pretty inexpensive and you can make chicken or beef or vegetable broth out of it, and they're really easy to store. They have a pretty decent shelf life. This one is good until 2021. It's over a year away and it's almost out. So we definitely go through this before they expire. And it's also good to maybe stock up on some canned soups. Chicken noodle soup, tomato soup, nice, easy, ready-made soups. A really easy soup to make is egg drop soup. You take chicken broth, you heat it up, you crack an egg into it, you stir it until you get ribbons, and there you go. I personally like to add some green onions or some ginger seasoning to it. Extra and miscellaneous. It's good to mention that it's okay to have freezer meals on hand. You can do frozen pizza, frozen burritos, or my personal favorite are frozen hamburger patties. You want to grab a multivitamin. It's good to supplement your nutrition while you're in emergency and also when you're not. I think popcorn is probably one of the most delicious snacks on the planet, and it's high in fiber. You can buy the kernels and pop it on the stove. You do not need a special pan, you just need a deep one. Here's a little hack. I personally really like ranch seasoning on my popcorn, and if you buy those little bottles, they're pretty expensive. They're $3 or $4 for a little bottle to sprinkle on your popcorn, but use these ranch seasoning packets. You can get one of these for like 47 cents at Aldi, and one of these will probably last you so many popcorn bowls. It's so much cheaper and it's pretty much the exact same thing. There's a little hack for you. Seasoning blends, ready-made or homemade, are really great ways to spice up your chicken. My favorite ones right now, you can find it at Aldi. This is my ultimate favorite right now, this tahini. It's like a chili lime seasoning. This is really good if you're making fajitas. I use this the most in burrito bowls. So burrito bowls are black beans, brown rice, avocado, corn, tomatoes if you have them on hand. You could do cilantro, and then I use this seasoning in it, mix it all together. There's also this homemade taco seasoning that I really like. I use that for dirty rice. So I put the taco seasoning with the sausage, and then I mix sausage and rice together. Sometimes I throw in a green pepper, mix it all together. It's really good. If you're looking for a snack, seaweed is a really good snack. You can find them at Aldi, and they're packaged in packs of 3. You get the entire thing for, I think it's around $1.50. These are really good because they're packaged in snack packs. My toddler really likes these. I like to eat them. Definitely recommend these. It even has a pretty good shelf life. These are good until the end of the year. If you're planning on being home for a while, I would suggest picking up baking ingredients like yeast, flour, sugar, baking soda, baking powder, all of those things. Now would be a great time to experiment with cooking. Of course, you're gonna wanna stock up on your condiments and also sauces. We're talking soy sauce, teriyaki sauce, Alfredo, pesto, and also at Aldi you can find some curry sauces. If you don't wanna make your own curry sauce, they do have the jarred variety too. Along with other snacks, you may wanna think about getting protein bars and raisins. You're gonna wanna stock up on oil, honey, probably some bottled water, coffee, and tea. And of course, we stock up on ramen. When I say stock up, I mean we get 1 package. That's it for all of the food items that I have for you. If you want to be able to see all of my lists, go ahead, click the link down below. You'll go to my blog post where I have all of this in list form. Then I have just a few more non-food items that I would recommend. They are diapers and wipes, sanitizer, toiletries, but I beg you, don't go crazy. Don't buy up all the toilet paper. Get what you need for the next 2 weeks. Let others have the rest. When all this blows over, you can start stocking up your shelf again. But right now is not the time to go ahead and purchase a year's worth of toilet paper. It might be a good idea to get some diapers and wipes, but if your child grows super fast, like all of them do, think about when you're gonna be using the diapers because your child might be in the next size up. Candles are also a good thing to consider in case you lose power. Flashlights and batteries for that very reason. Always good to have a first aid kit on hand. One thing that I didn't know about, did you know that you can use bleach to sanitize water? Definitely look at the CDC recommendations before you go and dump a whole bottle of bleach in your water. Don't do that. Very few drops to sanitize a huge pot of water. And also, if you run out of sanitizing wipes, just a little bit of bleach and a whole lot of water will help you sanitize your surfaces. So the question is, how do you store efficiently? Sealed container is ideal. But what about space? Like you've seen, we live in an apartment. We don't have a ton of space, so we've had to get really creative. As you can see, we have to do a fair amount of shifting around whenever we need to use the washer or dryer. So one day I would love to have a space that's just for a pantry, but right now it is what it is. We even used to have a deep freezer in one of the bedroom closets, but we needed the space, so we moved it out, put that in storage when we just rely on our regular freezer. We are still able to stock up about a month's worth of meat in there, but then we also have fruits and veggies and all those other things in there. When it comes to meat, you don't want to just put the whole entire package in the freezer. It's best to section it out into meal-sized portions and then freeze it. It's easier that way. Then the question is, how do you maintain a stocked pantry? Now that you've done all the hard work of stocking up food, how do you maintain it? Make sure you check expiration dates regularly. It's really easy when you buy some new cans just to put them up in front, but take the time, put them in the back, rotate your stock. Over time, you can grow your store of food to extend the length of time that you can stay home or that you can go without going grocery shopping. Lastly, be on the lookout for my next post and video about ways to prepare the foods using the ingredients that I've shown you, recipes included. In the meantime, head over to my Instagram, look for my story highlights labeled budget meals. I have 2. Those will give you more ideas of what you can make. The most important thing is to be prepared, but do not panic. You want to stock up your pantry in case of emergency, but you do not want to go overboard. As we are seeing around the world, even in areas that are locked down, pharmacies and grocery stores are still remaining open. There is no need to hoard food. And finally, if you find yourself sick, make sure you refer to the CDC guidelines of what to do next. So there you have it. That is how you can stock up your pantry in case of an emergency. Also, I don't know how many times I've said it, but do not rush out to the stores and buy everything in sight, especially not right now. Get what you need, be prepared, but don't panic. Store up your food over time, and when you use an item, put it on your list, replace it right away. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, turn on your notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. I will see you in the next video. Bye. Stocking up responsibility is actually a laundry. So I will give you a tour of my pantry. I will put a post down below to, it's snowing. If you look in the description, this is gonna take a long time. So my husband just rearranged the pantry, so I don't really know where a lot of things are. You can make your own version using, come on. You can make your own, okay, I give up. Or aseptic milk. Think that's how you say it. We're gonna go with that, aseptic milk. Wait, I gotta clean all this stuff up.